Zoomlion is doing a very fantastic job. Welcome to Doctors for a Good Cause, hosted on the Melvin Jane. And on this segment, we as aspiring health professionals, we bring you issues of public health concern so that we all get educated and then we know what to do going forward. Let's get into today's video. The Just One group, together with Zoomlion, is doing some mind-busting work. Like, the work they're doing is so nice in terms of waste management and all. Better than anything I've seen, better than our name drop, the Bastard Boys, better than any other company outside. And wait and hear my explanation before we start. So I visited the IRECOP facility in Ho. IRECOP is the Integrated Recycling and Compost Plant. And this was commissioned, I think, somewhere last year. But the things that we saw with our eyes while we visited there is what I want us to highlight. If you can hear, I have a bit of a coarse voice. And I picked that up when we went to the previous facility, which is a landfill facility. And in Ghana, that's how we've been managing majority of our waste for the longest time. So what happens at the landfill is that we demarcate an area for landfilling. By landfilling, I mean we go and throw the waste on that piece of land. So whether it's bottle or plastic or can, everything, we throw it there. And then what happens is that you see that the excavators will come back, they'll level that piece of land, and then they continue dumping waste there. I'm sure you have something similar in your area where you see like a lot of rubbish, let me just say Ebola, and sometimes it's hot. You see that fire is burning here, fire is burning here. We'll get to the reason why you see all that fire. It's not like anybody has gone to intentionally light fire anywhere. Now, there was a transition to new type of waste management, which involves recycling. And for everything that we know, or you know about recycling, is that recycling is changing what's the old to something new that we can use. And when it comes to waste management, recycling completes a circle, because before, waste management is linear. The waste comes out, then the waste is disposed. But right now, the waste comes out, the waste is used to make something that comes back into your house. So we have a circular process. And let's talk about why you should manage your waste. So there are different types of waste. And at the end of it all, with the previous system, everything was going to end up on the landfill. When things end up on the landfill like that, we are looking at the very first thing, if you've gone to a boiler or a dump site before, is the smell. That smell is so irritating. If you keep boiler for your house, safe, you know that rubbish smells so bad. Then the second thing is the greenhouse gases. So we've heard about global warming and these kind of things. So what happens is that when we dump outside, we dump in large quantities outside. And some of the stuff, especially in Ghana, majority of the things, the kind of waste that we produce is organic waste. So we dump all this organic waste outside. Through decomposition and stuff, we have a gas called methane. And methane gas is very combustible. By combustible, I mean it easily catches fire. So if we leave that methane gas, so I'm getting to why you usually see a lot of fire at the dump sites. So if we leave this methane gas under a high pressure state, what happens is that because of a lot of heat, it ends up sparking a reaction, then fire comes up, and then that's how you see that the trash is burning. So it's not like anybody goes intentionally to go and set fire to it majority of the time. Okay, so now those methane gas and the other greenhouse gases, when they leak into the atmosphere, what happens is that they end up trapping heat. Let's just make it like that for simplicity purposes. End up trapping heat. Then we have this effect that we call global warming. So the temperature of our Earth ends up increasing, and which is bad, because when it ends up increasing, we are going to have the ice, which is at the poles, melting. Sea levels are going to rise, and you are asking, how does it affect you? Flood is going to enter your house. That's how it's going to affect you. So that's the second thing with global warming. And that is the most scary part, because we don't want to leave a world for our children where they're going to have a persistently high temperature. There's going to be floods and other stuff that bothers them. You know, with floods comes all this certain diseases and stuff. Then another thing I want to talk about is our water. So when we do the landfill, there's something that leaks into the land. So if you've gone to Bola before, if you step, you see that actually there's some brown colored liquid. It looks some way. There are bad chemicals there. All those chemicals come together in what we call form what we call leachate. So that leachate can leak into the ground. When it leaks into the ground, we're looking at it contaminating the underground water. So for those of you who think borehole is safe, borehole is safe. If we continue with this kind of bad character, we end up going to contaminate even the borehole water, the one that goes under the soil. And all this, if we end up drinking contaminated water, you know that we are going to fall sick, we are going to poison ourselves. If it also rains and then water carries what is on the dam site into our river bodies, into our water bodies, people drink that kind of water. This is where water companies also get water to filter for us to drink. So all this, in the end, it's a very big health problem. So we came here to educate you on Doctors for a Good Cause, so that you would know what to do with your trash and how to give your trash out to people who are going to recycle it. So first, I'm going to mention Zoomlion. Zoomlion is now into recycling. So if you are giving your trash out to them, do not be afraid. Be also careful who you are giving your trash out to, because we don't want the trash to end up on the landfill sites. So from the landfill sites, where I actually got this whole course voice from, we went to the proper recycling facility. And I want to walk you a bit through how they do their things. So first of all, we had some education from Zoomlion. They told us about their collaboration or partnership with the Jospong Group, how it has really helped the future of waste management in this country. So it's projected that by 2050, Sub-Saharan Africa is going to be producing about 510 million metric tons of waste. And that is very scary, because if we are going to have this 510 million metric tons of waste that we are not going to manage, it's going to pose a very big health problem to us as a continent. So what Jospong Group aims to do is that they aim to be the biggest, and by biggest I mean the biggest. They aim to be the biggest waste recycling company inside of the whole Africa. And this is something that we as a nation are supposed to support, because this is one of us. So first of all, they gave us some education about the dangers of not recycling our waste and how we can also help them. I'll bring you guys all that subsequently. Then we went to the facility. So what happens at the facility is that in Ghana, the way we collect majority of our waste is that you and I know where you put the banku that you will not eat is the same place that you put your Coke bottle. It's the same place that you put your Fanta can. It's the same place that you put your sardine conco. It's the same place that you put everything. So with the kind of way that we collect waste in our country, this particular treatment plant that is in Ho is also built to sort out waste in that fashion. Now, before I continue, I want to mention that this is not the first of its kind in the country. The Jospong Group and Zoomlion, once again, also have such companies spread across the country. If you've watched the video up to this point, you know I'm making sense. I know you're liking the video. What you can do is that you can subscribe to the channel, you can like the video, you can comment to support us, and also share the video to somebody else who needs to see this and then learn something. So let's get back to our video. So there's the Accra compost and recycling plants. There's the Kumasi compost and recycling plants. There's also something of this sort at Mankasim. So in Ghana, they are really trying their best to make sure that as the pace setter, the majority of the companies are starting out here. If they're able to deal with Ghana's sanitation problem, this would put them out there as one of the most reliable companies to be able to do what they want to do inside of Africa. So at the facility, the waste comes, like the way we collect our waste. It comes, and then you have gone to the airport before, there's a conveyor belt. So all the trash is gathered at one place, then they remove it and then put it onto the belt. So they put it onto the belt, and what happens is that there's flattening and evening out of the trash. Let me stop saying trash, because Zoomlion said that nothing is trash, because at the end of it, it's going to come back into your house as recycled product. So they've completed that chain, so we have no trash, basically. So the waste goes back into the plant, and when it's spread out, what they have is that there are people. So this is the manual part of the process. So there are people who are going to sort out the waste. By sort out the waste, I mean people are going to pick things. If they tell them to pick plastic, if they tell them to pick metals, that is what they are going to be picking out. And this is obviously cost intensive, but we are happy that they are also employing Ghanaians for this part of the job. And what they do is that they pick out the trash and then they separate it. Then the sand is also drawn out from the waste. I'll try my best not to say trash. So the sand is also drawn out from the waste. So at this point, there are people who are interested in getting certain elements of this waste. So some of it is also used for compost, some of it is used for recycling, some of it is used to generate something that produces heat. It's almost like charcoal and is used in cement factories and stuff. So every component of this waste is necessary. So what happens is that now the waste is sorted, and if there's anybody who placed, let's say, an order for plastics or these kind of things, it's going to be thoroughly cleaned, disinfected, and then sent over to them. And for the parts of recycling, they pick these things up. So everything ends up back on the street. So with the plastics, they are used to make raw elements that are used to make plastic chairs, pipes, and these kind of things. With the metals also, they recycle them. They use them to make new metal chippings and stuff. And then with the fabric, most of the fabric is used to create a new type of fuel. That is also a source of energy that we can depend on, because human beings will always produce waste. So imagine that we are able to make something like diesel or something like petrol out of the waste that we push out. That's going to be very beneficial. And it's also, we're told that it's a very cheap source of fuel. So if they're able to do that research and then that kind of fuel is cleared for the markets, it's also going to help us very much. Now let's talk about some of the challenges that Zoomlion faces. Like I mentioned when starting, is the way we collect our trash. We put everything in one place. And when we do that, it becomes cost intensive for them, because they now have to employ people to be able to sort out this waste before it goes into the machine. That whole part of the work is cost intensive. Imagine just having your plastic where you take it directly to the plastic recycling plant instead of starting from the sorting and all those things. So we beg you, learned Ghanaians who are also not learned, we believe that we Ghanaians, we like to learn. And if you have to educate somebody, we beg you, please do it. Because we are cutting costs for Zoomlion, we end up helping them, the Jospon group of companies, everybody else. What we need you to do is that we need you to segregate your waste, especially for large organizations. So segregate your waste into plastics, segregate your waste into metals, segregate your waste into paper, and segregate your waste into organic waste. So that when Zoomlion comes, you can give them all these separate parts of your waste, and then they would know what to do with it. They will have a less cost-intensive process and stuff like that. And we also beg you, buy their bins, buy Zoomlion bins. Because when you buy Zoomlion bins, what you do is that you end up contributing to the company, you end up following their sanitation rules. If the bins are full, just give them a call. They'll come and pick it up. If you're also a large organization who knows that you generate a lot of waste, they are interested in buying certain parts of your waste. They can buy the plastics or the metals. That one, you place a call to Zoomlion and then you discuss. It's not with me. I'm only rehashing the information to you. So they can buy some of your waste, especially if it is in large quantities. And it's really going to help us. I'm sure you've seen people who come around or go to the dump sites and then they pick up bottles and things like that. Okay. And most of those people are only going to clean and then go sell to a company like Zoomlion. Then the last thing to mention is that these tricycles that collect waste, if they're coming to collect your waste, just ask them, where are they taking it to? Because some of them are actually doing the right thing. They are affiliated with Zoomlion, so they come and collect the waste and then send. But just ask them, where is your waste going to end up? We don't want majority of waste ending up on the landfill sites or ending up in our water bodies. It's going to pose a great public health threat to all of us. So we beg you. We want to see Ghana as one of the neatest countries in the world. And this is going to start with our waste management. 40% of waste is not being collected, and it's not being collected because we are not dumping the waste right. Some of us are burning the waste in our houses. We are burying it. We are doing things. And at the end of it, it's going to pose a big public health threat. So we beg you, manage your waste properly. For now, make sure your waste ends up with Zoomlion, because they are the only ones, at least in a large capacity, who are trying to complete the recycling chain. So we beg you, do the right thing. See you guys in the next video.